Welcome back. In this session, we will be exploring together the core roles and responsibilities in the sales space. But before we talk about salespeople, let's spend some time talking about our customers. I think you would agree that we are all guilty of using different terminology to describe our potential customers as they move through the buyer-seller journey. If you aim to speak at eye level with your sales applicants, it's essential that we understand the terminology that salespeople use with their potential customers as well. So before we talk about our sales applicants, let's dive deep into the different terms that define our potential customers. When someone lands on our website, they leave their contact details and expect a call back from one of our salespeople. That's a lead. The lead is someone who may have some level of interest in buying and using our solution. You probably noticed that I said may have some level of interest. And the reason is, leads have many reasons to spend time reviewing your solution, navigating through your website and speaking to your salespeople. Some of them are simply window shoppers, sniffing around for competitive data, and some are not even sure yet where, how, and why your solution may be a good fit in their ecosystems. Marketing's main job is to generate as many quality leads as possible, so sales can convert them later into actual customers. When leads make the first move and reach to us first, we refer to this type of engagement as inbound sales. They do it because we promoted our solution through marketing campaigns on social media channels, or simply because they heard about it or saw it in action before. When we decide to reach out first, this prospecting model is referred to as outbound sales. Outbound sales representatives, or simply reps, need to target specific types of lead through emails, phone calls, or even text messaging. These two types of sales engagement require different skill set with a certain level of overlapping areas. Generally speaking, inbound leads are considered as easier to engage with than outbound leads. Why? Because the potential customers made the first move. When either one of the sales reps starts to engage with the lead, one of the following scenarios can happen. The sales rep qualifies the lead, and the lead enters the buying journey as a qualified lead, also known as a prospect. In case the sales rep decides to put the process on hold, the lead goes back to marketing for nurturing. In case the sales rep decides to disqualify the lead, all types of engagements are eliminated from this point and onwards. Let's recap again the differences between a lead and a prospect. A prospect is a lead who has been qualified by the sales rep to match a company's ideal customer profile, also known as the ICP. Now that we are more familiar with the potential customers, let's move on to talk about our sales representatives. Sellers who deal with outbound sales are usually referred to as BDRs, Business Development Representatives. On the other hand, sellers who deal with inbound leads are referred to as SDRs, Sales Development Representatives. Sales organizations may have an explicit structure and rules of engagement where there is a clear line separating between SDRs and BDRs. However, for various reasons, some organizations may want to have both teams deal with both types of engagement. So in that case, you may have a sales rep that bounces off from inbound to outbound. This is usually referred to as hybrid sales. In most cases, SDR is considered as a junior role or entry point for most senior sales roles, such as BDRs or account executives. It's important to mention that the sales profession is evolving fast as we speak, mainly due to the emerging technologies that help to accelerate changes and introduce new positions and creative responsibilities, such as having customer success managers taking part in the process of expanding the business within an existing account. Some businesses may enforce this scenario with the help of the BDR, while some will prefer having the CSM taking the lead on this. From a hiring perspective, it's extremely important to identify and confirm that your applicant has the required skills and experience to deal with each engagement. If your sales organization is mainly relying on inbound leads, there is no point to hire a BDR, and vice versa. However, many businesses are either transitioning their prospecting model or thinking to enhance their prospecting model in the future. In such cases, they will appreciate having additional skills available to achieve a more flexible sales organization. This is definitely something you need to double check with your hiring manager before you meet with your sales applicant for the first time. What you don't want to happen is hiring someone for a specific job and then you find out he or she are incapable or not willing to acquire a new skill set. Let's move on to discuss in detail about selling skills. As we mentioned earlier, one of the most important skills for an outbound sales engagement is cold calling. Imagine yourself speaking to a friend or preparing a nice dinner for your family, and then surprisingly the phone rings and someone you have never met before is trying to pick your brain on a solution or a product you have never heard of before. That's basically what cold calling is all about. And for some sellers, this is the hardest part of the job, picking up the phone and calling someone who's not waiting for your call. So again, if you're trying to fill in an outbound position, double down on your efforts to identify a potential fit or a disaster. SDRs and BDRs are the first to engage with your potential customers, so the impression they leave in their engagements and how they deal with specific situations, such as objections, those parameters will determine if and when the prospect will continue the engagement with the next person in line, the sales executive. The three roles we just covered are all positioned as sales development. Their main job is to engage with the prospect for the first time, discover their intent to do business with us, and most importantly, they are responsible for keeping the sales pipeline laser focused and clean of garbage deals that we may lose eventually. In our next session, we will explore common business models and segments in order to make sure we target the right applicant for the right job. Make sure you complete the short quiz and home assignment before you play the next session. For your convenience, please make sure you download and review the course resources and use them alongside these videos. Let's meet again in a few minutes.